What's up YouTube, this is Tubedigga. In this video I'm going to show you the techniques that I use to put together a dark trap or drill style track using my MPC-X. If you don't own an MPC-X or a Live, One, Touch, the software or an Akai Force, which all have similar facilities, don't worry, you can apply these techniques to any DAW or hardware device of your choice, providing they have a similar level of facilities to do some of the processes that I'm going to show you. But basically what I'm saying is these are fundamental techniques which you should be able to translate to any given machine. If you'd like to obtain the project files for the track that I put together in this video, please donate to this channel via the link in the description. And if you just put a message saying trap and drill, I will personally email you a link to the project files for this track. Before I get into this video, I just want to thank all my current subscribers, anyone that's liked and shared my videos, anyone that follows and supports me on social media, and of course anyone that's been kind enough to donate to this channel. If you'd like private tuition with myself, please contact me at tubedigga@gmail.com for more details. And if you're interested in purchasing my website content, please head over to www.tubedigga.com/members. So I'm going to show you exactly the process that I follow when putting a basic track together to get the main structure of it, and then show you a bit about how I would go ahead and expand that from maybe a 2-bar or a 4-bar loop. First of all, I'm going to go to my browser. For me, I like to put my drum kit together first. And one of the most distinctive things in trap and drill style music these days, chippy snare. I call it the chippy snare because it sounds like it's going chip. And I believe it's an 808 snare that's had some processing done to it. But I know that it exists in the Urban Roulette expansion pack. So if we type in snare, and from memory I think it's number 52. Well, there's that version of it there, which has got the very distinctive chippy sound, but there's quite a lot of reverb. I'm going to load that anyway to pad 2. And I believe number 52 is just a more, yeah, it's just a short version. So the next thing that I'm going to search for is an 808. So this is for our bass. In dark parallax, I believe there's some really good ones for this kind of music. I quite like that one as well. So I've just got a second one there. So we've just got the two 808 kicks. The last thing for the fundamental sounds that we need is, of course, our hi-hat. This one's perfect. Let's go to the program editor. The first thing that I'm going to do is go to the filter envelope page. I'm going to change the amplitude envelope to attack, hold, decay, sustain. And I'm going to bring the sustain down all the way to 0. And then I'm just going to extend the decay. And that sounds pretty much exactly the same as the sound on pad 3, albeit this one has a little bit more high end. But I prefer this one. I'm just going to set the mute group for the two bass sounds to the same group so they don't clash, and make a secondary copy of this 808. So now we've got, and I'm just going to tune that. I'm also going to copy that again to pad 10, and I'm going to increase the pitch of that one. As you can see, I've left a space with these hi-hats rather than keeping them constant like this, because I want to fill those gaps with all the nice little pitch rolled hi-hats that you get in this kind of music. There's many different ways we can do that. Let's look at the first technique. Let's switch on note repeats. It doesn't matter what time division at the moment. We're just going to play the sequence back and just have a play about with the note repeats as the sequence goes. Now let's look at how we can manipulate the pitch of this hi-hat to give us those classic pitch declining or pitch ascending effects that we get in trap and drill music. So I'm going to press and hold my shift button and press the program button for the Q-Link edit. Make sure that we've got our program up here. I'm going to choose the type to be pad. I'm going to choose the pad to be pad 4, which is our hi-hat. I'm going to choose it to be a program parameter. I'm going to go to the parameter section here, and I'm just going to choose the first option, which is tuning, but I'm going to select momentary. This means that this will snap back whenever I release it and return our hi-hat back to its default pitch. So that means we can now do this. And of course we can write automate that. So let's turn write automation on and let's record some automation for the tuning. You can of course do this with the snare. So let's put on note repeats, turn triplets off. Put it on 16th notes. In fact, let's have 30-second notes. Press and hold shift, go to the Q-Link edit mode for program. Choose our next Q-Link. Make sure it's pad for the type. And choose pad 2. Choose program. The parameter is tuning. Switch on momentary. You get the idea, you could go on forever. So if you don't have those kind of facilities, you might not have an MPC, or if you just want to do it a different way, let's just turn off note repeat there. Let's go to a second track. Let's now go to key group program, go to the program editor, and I'm going to load in our hi-hat for the entire key group program. So this means now we've got a tuned program for our hi-hat. And it is as simple as using your note repeats and playing different notes back on the pad. I suppose the limitation with this is the 16 pads. You've only got that range of tuning. When you assign it to a Q-Link, you've got a lot more control over the pitch of that sound. And I think that's the far better way. So this is another technique with the hi-hats. If we go to program edit, choose the hi-hats, we can copy that to some blank pads. So I'm going to copy it to these 6 pads here. In fact, let's have it on all of these 8 pads. That makes more sense. So this is our default one here. On pad 3, we can change the sample playback mode to note on. So that means we can now loop this sample. Let's choose forward loop. Just go back to our original and put all of these hi-hats in the same mute group. So let's put them in mute group 2. So now these will choke each other. Go up to our zones, choose multiple, choose our 8 hi-hats, close that, and let's change them all to note on. And make sure the mute group's the same for all. And let's switch on looping for all of them. Let's go to current, let's go to our pad, and I'm just going to turn off looping for our original pad there. Now, of course, we've only got tuning mapped for this one Q-Link here. So you could, again, expand on this even further and automate all the tuning of each of these hi-hats. But we don't have to do that. We can just simply use the data wheel. So as an example, that's a slow one. We can just record this. So the next thing that I need is a sound that I can make a melody out of. So I'm just going to choose one of these folders at random and see if we can find a sound that's suitable. That's fine. So I'm going to make it really short, try and get the end point so there's no click. Okay, that's fine. Let's now send this to the reverb. Let's now copy the pad to these additional pads. We just need 4 notes. I'm just going to increase the semitones of this. Okay, so now this is going to be really creeping and sinister sounding with these notes. And I'm going to put the Akai frequency shifter on return 1 after the reverb, so it affects both the dry and the wet signal. So the last thing that I want to do is just introduce these little bass notes that we've got here. I'm going to latch note repeat, 16th notes is fine, and I'm just going to jam these additional bass notes over the top at points which I hope will work and improve the sort of funk of the track. So how do we expand upon this easily? Let's go to the sequence edit menu, press copy sequence. Let's copy this to sequence 2, copy it to sequence 3, sequence 4. So we know that we've got all of our elements in each of the 4 sequences. So let's go back to sequence 1. Let's press erase, and let's erase our sub and our sub kick and the additional subs and the snare. Press do it. So I've just put a snare in there just so that leads us into our next sequence. So let's go to sequence 2, press erase again. Let's now erase our additional sub kicks here. And we can leave the snare for this one. So now we've got sequence 1 and sequence 2 are going to do this. For sequence 4, I just think it's a case of getting rid of the melody. So let's just get rid of the melodic sounds for sequence 4. So erase. We could actually keep one of those in. So kind of sticking with that theme. So let's keep that for sequence 4. So I'm going to double the length of that and copy that sequence to sequence 5. And now I'm going to erase these melodic notes completely. So let's go to song mode, press record, put the sequence order into the song, press convert to sequence. This is now going to convert this to a longer self-contained sequence on sequence 6. And let's go to sequence 6, and there we've got a 28 bar loop. Another thing that I could do is copy the 4 melodic pads to 4 additional pads and then reduce each of their pitches to -12 semitones or 1 octave. Then I would copy the sequence that's triggering the original melodic pads to another sequence and then just simply go to the grid editor and transpose those pads to the new ones where I've reduced the pitch. And that will give you an automatically different feel and obviously darker vibe for that sequence, just as a quick way to give you an alternate sequence or section in your song. As said before, if you want the project files for the track that I've made in this video so you can take a closer look, maybe deconstruct it or even improve on it yourselves, please donate to this channel using the PayPal link in the description, and make sure you leave a message on that donation saying trap and drill so I know what it is, and then I can add you to the download access list. If you'd like private lessons with myself, please contact me at tubedigga@gmail.com for more details. For my website content, it's www.tubedigga.com/members, and I will hopefully see you on the next one. This is Tubedigga, and I'm out.